Shalom Chaverim. Wednesday night, the weather here in DC, we got a little rain off and on. Yesterday was a rainy day. Today was pretty fair and clear. A little rain here and there. And our topic tonight is fairness. Make America good again by looking at values. And as I introduce each of our sessions on Wednesday night, my colleague, Rabbi Fred Reiner, put together a list of values, if you will, and worked with a committee in the Reform movement and submitted it. And I heard one of my colleagues preach a sermon on that very topic and decided to make it my topic for Wednesday nights. We're on step 5. And rather than just looking at Jewish values, I thought we would look at the 5 Abrahamic religions, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, and then add to it Hinduism and Buddhism as a sampling. And so we'll take a look at how the Abrahamic religions and Buddhism and Hinduism treat or look at these values. And we're not talking about politics. We're not talking about ritual. It's extremely important. I'm not talking about you do it this way or don't do it that way. Remember, rituals are to remind us of the path. Rituals are to remind us of values. The goal is not rituals. And we often lose sight of that fact. Often, when we think of religion, we think of rituals and practices and think, he must be religious because he goes to services, or he eats certain food, or he refrains from certain... No, that's not what makes someone religious. That makes you observant, not religious. As we all know, there are many people out there who are extremely observant and in no way follow the teachings or the tenets of any of the religion or the religions they actually profess. And for those of you who are asking me to invite you to join as a guest, I'll say what I say every week and I'll repeat it again. Yes, I would love you to co-host with me next Wednesday night. Send an email, rabbiblock@hotmail.com. We'll pick our topic. We don't have to do step 5 in our values. We could pick a different topic altogether. And we'll meet in my Zoom room. And we will decide how to talk to each other, whether we want to have questions and answers, or we want to have an outline. Whatever you would like to do, I'm inviting all of you. Any of you that keep saying, invite me, I'm inviting you to be my co-host next Wednesday night. So please send me off an email. We've been going through our values. Step 5, fairness. Fairness. Well, fairness is how we treat each other. Are we impartial? Do we treat each other with respect as equals? That's what fairness means. It also means truthfulness. Not intentionally saying things that aren't true and professing and presenting questionable evidence or evidence that's already been discredited. It means being just and reasonable with each other. And as we're going to see this evening, our 3 Abrahamic religions, along with Islam and Buddhism, consider fairness as a central moral and spiritual value. Spiritual, because that's what these sessions are about, spirituality. They're not about a particular religion being right or wrong. They're not about, if you don't follow my religion, you're going to this place. If you follow it, you're going to this. It's not, no. that's up to each religion and its teaching. It's not universal. What I'm aiming for through this series is fairness, equity, equality, ethical, being ethical, doing the right thing. Someone just said, I don't hate Islam. Islam happens to be a brother-sister religion of Judaism. And that's why it's Judaism, Islam, and Christianity are the three Abrahamic religions. There's nothing, no hate. Just the opposite. Judaism and Islam share many values, many basic beliefs. However, each developed in a different climate and different culture. So the rituals are different. Someone just asked me to talk about Zionism, and I have in the past. I'll make the same statement again. I'm not a political Zionist. I'm a social, spiritual Zionist. The state of Israel is a country, and it's being controlled by political Zionists. They don't speak for all of us. Many of us believe in a spiritual, social Zionism, which are the values of Judaism, and not always the values of a country. So let's leave it at that. And whoever asks that question, email me, and I'd be glad to talk with you in my Zoom room. Fairness. Well, Judaism, judge with justice. It's Leviticus chapter 19. Deuteronomy chapter 16. Let justice roll down like waters. We're going to look at this. Amos. Now, since Christianity accepts Hebrew scripture, Old Testament, so the passages in Leviticus and Deuteronomy and Amos apply to Christianity as well. Luke talks about the golden rule. The Quran talks about fairness in everything. And if Buddhism, cosmic karma, as justice is to work its way throughout the known universe, ethical conduct leads to positive outcomes. So let's take a look at each. Let's start with our three Abrahamic faiths. I'm going to sneeze. Excuse me. Ooh. And I put the air conditioning on so we're not getting in the pollen and everything. Judaism promotes treating everyone fairly in business and all interactions. And I'd like to interject for those asking me about Zionism and Palestine and such. That's why I keep saying Israel is a country. It's making many decisions that are not in accordance with Jewish ethics, with Jewish spirituality. Israel has many Jews, many Muslims, and many Christians living there. It's in world politics. And world politics often has countries making decisions that are not consistent with religious teachings. And I think that's very sad, because I would like to see Israel as being a light to the nations. I'd like to see Israel to be supporting our Abrahamic faiths. But it isn't. And all we can do is what I'm doing, speak out and say, I'm not in agreement with their political decisions. Leviticus 19:15. You shall not render an unjust judgment. You shall not be partial to the poor or defer to the great. Let me repeat that. You shall not show preference to poor people or defer to rich people. Judge everyone equally, impartially. And we have gotten away with that here in the United States, in our House, in our Senate, in our Congress, in our state. Too often, there are political decisions made that are partial to the poor, or against the poor, or deferring to the rich, or being against the rich. And it does not have a good outcome. We're looking for a middle way. We're looking for the middle road. We're looking for the book of Leviticus. Deuteronomy, justice, justice, you shall pursue. Pursue justice, fairness, which is why the statue of the lady with the scales, she has a blindfold. This idea that you're not to give and make laws for either group, judge everyone fairly. Amos, let justice roll down like waters and righteousness like an ever-flowing stream. Great imagery. Exodus, again, I'm emphasizing it again. I'm not making this up. It's in Old Testament Hebrew scripture. Fairness must not be distorted for either the vulnerable or the powerful. So if someone violates, commits, whether they're wealthy or poor, we're to put aside their status and judge fairly. And too often, our laws are skewed either way. And it doesn't have a good outcome, and it hasn't worked for any of us. It's not good. And what Israel's doing as a country in Gaza won't have a good outcome. It doesn't have a good outcome. People are dying, people are getting killed, people are starving. Doesn't have a good outcome. Won't. Well, let's move on to Christianity, our second Abrahamic religion. Fairness is a reflection of God's righteousness, and it's reflected through love, mercy, and justice. And basically, it's teaching others to treat others the way we want to be treated. James, the Epistle of James, condemns favoritism towards the rich. And of course, Luke, the golden rule, do unto others as you would have others do unto you. What a great rule. And Hillel had the other side of the coin, that which is hateful to you, do not do to others. There we have it. There's the coin. What could be better? I'm looking for the coin I keep here. I have my stone. I don't see my coin. But it has two sides. If you don't like something done to you, that's enough. Don't do it to anyone else. And if you want it done to you and you like it, then that's what you do to someone else. Judaism and Christianity. Right there. Islam follows suit. Islam teaches fairness in all dealings. Business, legal matters. O you who have believed, be standing firm in justice, witnesses for Allah, even if it be against yourself or your parents or your relatives. What a great statement from Muhammad, from the Quran. Stand firm in justice, even if your business will suffer, even if your partner will suffer. Whether one is rich or poor, the Quran goes on. Allah is more worthy of both. The Quran is just emphasizing what Judaism and Christianity are teaching. Justice is the center pillar of Islamic ethics. Again from the Quran, Surah 5:8. Let not hatred of a people lead you to be unjust. And let's bring up what's going on in the Middle East again. We want to bring both Israel, the Palestinians, Gaza, Islamic countries back into line with both of our basic teachings. However, politics and what goes on between countries often leads us astray of what our basic religions teach. Again, Surah 16. Allah commands justice, excellence. So those are our three Abrahamic religions. And I really like the golden rule and the other side of the coin about being hateful. There we have fairness. Just do unto others. And the same thing with your comments to me. Do you want me to be saying these things about you? Evidently, you do because you think it's okay to say them to me. So I'd like you to think about it. I have 3 more people that want to be invited. RabbiBlock@hotmail.com. I'm inviting you. You're my guest next Wednesday night. Let's meet in my Zoom room and set this up. Buddhism. Buddhism. The principle of karma isn't instant karma, bad things, good. Karma is a natural law of cause and effect. It's cosmic justice. It's to keep the universe in balance. Karma teaches us that actions have consequences. Ethical conduct leads to positive outcomes. Unethical conduct leads to negative outcomes. And the Buddha taught that it's in the universe over time. It's not that someone cut you off on 66 or the Beltway that they're going to get cut off in the next 5 minutes. That's not karma. I wish it were true. It's wishful thinking. It's not karma. Tremble at violence. And we find in the Dharma, do not do unto others what you would not have them do to you. We're back again. Another way to say that which is hateful to you, don't do to others. Do not do unto others what you would want done unto you. Be fair. Treat each other fairly in relationships. Look at what happens in our personal relationships when we don't treat each other fairly. There's suspicion, there's hate, there's people getting even, there's misery. There's nothing good, there's no good outcome. And even if I feel better, if you're mean to me and I'm mean to you and I feel better, it's fleeting and gone. Truly, that's what the Buddha taught over time. Hinduism. Hinduism expands, like Buddhism. Fairness in Hinduism isn't just between individuals or people. It's about the balance of the universe, a moral cosmic balance. Acting fairly is a way of maintaining harmony within the universe. In the Abrahamic religions, we talk about interpersonal, or you and me, and how we treat each other and what we do. In Buddhism and Hinduism, the concept is expanded to the universe, to universal expression, to maintaining the harmony of the universe, of keeping things in balance. Duty, justice, acting fairly. From the Gita, your right is to perform your duty, not to the fruits of unethical behavior. It is this teaching, this Dharma, that will hold all of us together. If we look at, people keep bringing up the Middle East, if we look at the history of the Middle East, if we look at from the beginning, with the UN voting, with the war between Israel and the neighboring countries, at midnight when the UN declared the state of Israel, and then we look at Israel's response, and we follow this back and forth, we end up at what we're watching today, and it's not good for anybody. And my DeLorean is in the shop right now, so I won't be able to go back in time. Once I get my DeLorean back, I can go back in time, and maybe I can teach and warn both the new state of Israel and the existing Arab countries where this fighting will lead in 80 years later, and it's best that we don't start it. But we now have to deal with what is. Israel is here, and it's going to be around. We do have displaced people who are Palestinians. They're going to be around. Now, let's accept what is and create a solution without having more destruction, more death, and more unfairness. Let's create justice. And we can look at the same thing with our political parties. Look at with the Democrats and Republicans. Look at how both sides are being unfair. Look at how both sides are not treating each other with respect. Look at how both sides aren't listening to the other side. And where has that gotten us? Turmoil, the markets, prices, peace. Look at everything that has resulted from our fifth step. Now, I'd like to believe I can change Democrats and Republicans, but that's not my goal. And that's not yours either. We are here to change ourselves. We are here so that we treat each other fairly. We are here so that we follow these steps. It's much too easy to point the finger and blame them and say they have to do this, they're not doing that, they have to straighten that out. Let us begin with each other. Let's look at each other and say, what am I supporting? What am I promoting? Am I being unfair by promoting, by supporting the poor just because? Let's look at the event. Let's look at the issue. Not look at the people. Am I leaning and passing legislation that leans towards supporting those in power, those who are strong, those who have the money? Justice is supposed to be blind. And that's what fairness is about. Not promoting. And that were all my quotes from both Hebrew scripture and Greek scripture. Do not favor the poor. Do not favor the rich. No favoritism. No favoritism. And we also have to be careful of political slogans. We also have to be careful not to get caught up in these slogans that would have me promoting that I'm better than you. I just got another invite. Send me the email. You're my co-host. Number 7492. You're my host next Wednesday night. As soon as we finish here, send me an email so we can arrange a time to meet at Zoom. And I believe that we need a state of Palestine that recognizes the right of Israel to exist and is not a platform for terrorism or attacking any country, whether it be Jordan, Lebanon, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, the Emirates. We cannot have the established. It won't work. It'll just be more death, more destruction. So when we talk about a Palestine, one of the pillars is Israel recognizes the right of Palestine to exist. Palestine recognizes the right to exist. Neither is sending missiles on the other. But to establish a platform, how long would we put up for Mexico or Canada sending missiles into Texas or Minnesota? We wouldn't. And it wouldn't be reasonable to have a country bordering on us who solely exists to destroy. So there's our answer. Two countries mutually respecting each other, promoting fairness, listening to each other. I'm not thrilled with the West Bank. I don't believe in what the Israeli government is doing with the settlements in the West Bank. I think it's just leading to more problems. But those were political decisions of Israel. And I'm not an Israeli citizen. I'm an American. And I want to get us to look at our lives. How are we treating other Americans? How are we treating the citizens of our own country? Are we... We should do a session on very traditional Jewish food. Now, what we call Jewish food is really Eastern European. And if I say Israeli food, it's Jewish, many people have never had it, don't know anything about it, because it's from the East. It's from Egypt, from Africa, from Israel. When we talk about Jewish food, matzo ball soup, it's Eastern European. It's German and Russian. And we find that all over our country because a lot of the United States was settled by individuals from Germany and Russia. There's nothing good to say about food from England. Wouldn't even want to talk about British food. Let's not talk about that. And to ask me if I'm pro-Israel, yes, I believe in the right of the state of Israel to exist. I don't agree with a lot of their politics. I don't agree with a lot of their policies. Okay? I don't agree with a lot of the policies that are happening right here in the nation's capital, right here in D.C. I don't agree with the policies that the Republicans are promoting. I don't believe in a lot of the policies that Democrats are promoting. I'm pro-United States. That's why I want to make America good again. By going back to our values from the three Abrahamic religions and Buddhism and Hinduism, to go back to our very basic teachings, do unto others. Well, that's my 5th step. And of course, I would be remiss if I didn't bring us a word from our sponsor, my book, How to Be Jewish in 30 Seconds. Available at Barnes & Noble online, at Amazon online. Your local bookseller can order it for you. And a lot of the questions you're asking are answered in my book. But as I've told you before, the cartoons are worth the price of the book alone, even if you don't want to read my words of wisdom. Does the Torah state that the nation of Israel cannot exist? No. The state of Israel, a political country, a homeland, a place for the ingathering. The Messiah, the word means messenger, the Messiah will announce the coming of God's kingdom on earth. And there are a lot of stories, there's a lot of myth, a lot of teachings about what does that mean, how is that going to happen, etc., etc. However, we take the word Mashiach, messenger. What's the message? God's kingdom will be established on earth immediately. That's the Jewish teaching. Just like a delivery. You order something online, and they tell you next day, 3 days, 4 days. They don't say to you, well, we'll get it to you someday, or maybe in the future. No, that's not the idea of the Messiah. The Messiah is immediate. And because of all the wars in Africa, all the wars in the Middle East, all the nasty things that are going on, the Messiah hasn't come yet. Because the Messiah will announce God's kingdom on earth. And Judaism does not have a central authority. There isn't one person that can speak for all Jews and say this is what Jews need to believe. That's why there are Jewish groups that believe in different things. So when you hear something, don't extrapolate. Don't think that all Jews believe that, or why don't all Jews believe that. And you can always contact me. You can always email me, meet me in my Zoom room, and say, gee, I just heard this from a Jewish group. How prevalent is this? How widespread is this? Do you believe in it? How many Jews believe in it? The Roman Catholic Church, Pope Leo, the Vicar of Christ, stands out as the head of the Roman Catholic Church. And through the Pope, there are teachings, and this is what Catholics believe. We have no equivalent in Judaism. No cardinals, no bishops. And you may once in a while hear about a chief rabbi, but that's political. Well, our time is up. Thank you all. Have a safe evening. Lila